For the introductory, let us hear Miss Estelle Cheng, the engagement manager from ORCID. Estelle, the time is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. Salaman pagi and good afternoon or evening for the rest of the world. So this is Estelle Chen. Now I'm the ORCID engagement manager and for developing the global ORCID community, particularly for Asia and some parts of Europe. So I would like to say thank you, PKP and the UMM, for your hard work and efforts to make this webinar coming true. And openness has been one of the core values shared by all of us, and not for ORCID, but also for PKP and also for the Indonesian community, which has been an open access leader for the past few years. So I believe and I hope the webinar will serve as a starting point for us to understand more about ORCID, about PKP, and about how, I should say, OJS and OJS ORCID plugin, and how we can all benefit from that and to improve what we want. That's openness, visibility, and discoverability. And last, I want to share a famous quote. Maybe you hear there's the famous quote from the French chemist Louis Pasteur that chance favors the prepared mind. I think for now, it definitely goes beyond that. So we all know that actions speak louder than words. So I would like to redefine a little bit. I think it's important to be prepared, but it's even more important to be prepared to take actions. So I hope after this webinar, all of you can start to really adopt ORCID and OJS ORCID and OJS ORCID plugin, and to ensure we are working more closely. So thank you. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Estelle. Terima kasih. Bapak dan Ibu, tadi Estelle mengingatkan bahwa action itu lebih baik daripada word. Jadi tindakan lebih gampang dan lebih susah daripada kata-kata. Jadi semoga setelah webinar ini Bapak dan Ibu dapat segera mengaplikasikan OJS plugin dan juga ORCID plugin di OJS. Okay, now we are moving forward to the welcoming speech of the founder and co-scientific director of Public Knowledge Project, Dr. John Wilinski, who is currently a professor at Simon Fraser University and Kosla Family Professor Emeritus at Stanford University. John, now you are connected with more than 100 OJS users in Indonesia. You have 5 to 10 minutes until past the hour.
Thank you so much, Maria. It's a great honor to be here at UMN, and I am delighted to be a part of an ORCID meeting. Let me give you just a little bit of background of why I'm here and why Eric Hansen and I are representing PKP today. The Public Knowledge Project started 28 years ago with the idea of helping, excuse me, with the idea of helping share knowledge worldwide, helping in particular in sharing research. And what we've done in that period of 28 years is we've built a platform, Open Journal Systems, which many of you are using, but we have discovered it's the people behind the platform that really make a difference. And around the world, they are using OJS, but nowhere more so than Indonesia. So it is such an honor to be in front of an audience in Indonesia, to be in association with Maria Lamuri in terms of PKP, but also all of you that are gathered here today. With this common interest of sharing research and understanding. Indonesia's growth in the use of OJS has been really phenomenal. There are over 20,000 journals publishing in the around 30 to 40 articles on average a year. And the contribution of those articles, each of them, is significant and is making a difference. The requirements and the involvement of Indonesia is among the most advanced in the world in requiring students to publish research as part of their graduation for undergraduate and for graduate students. And so the idea that Indonesia is a source of contribution and sharing is critical to the way in which we think about open access and to the way in which we think about the distribution and sharing of knowledge. So it is an honor and a delight. But Estelle, I have to say that it is a particular pleasure to be here with ORCID. I can see on the screen that the ID is very prominent and that we are proud to be a sponsor. You should have an animated character, Estelle, that kind of smiles and winks at us, I think, with the to kind of reinforce that ID. But I want everyone to realize that the kind of work that ORCID does is very similar to what we do in terms of building a common global standard, a basis of exchange. And the the ORCID ID concept of having a common profile, of being able to tell who's who and what they have done and what they have contributed is such an important aspect of the research spectrum. We are all engaged as individuals in sharing knowledge, and that needs to be recognized, and ORCID facilitates that. We have for many years been very proud of how we have incorporated ORCID into OJS. It's still an option, but it's fully supported. And I'm expecting that Eric will be giving you more information about that aspect. But I just want to say again that to my 28 years involved in this project, I am most proud of our association with Indonesia. It is the largest user of our software. Its contribution exceeds that of other nations. And it's a partnership that we are very proud of. In the last couple of years, it has intensified. Maria, you've played an important part of that, and others have, in terms of our ability to work in partnership and in collaboration with Indonesia. So I send you a welcome from San Francisco, where I'm situated here in the evening. And I am delighted by what's going to go on today. And I hope that this is one, in fact, it has been one of a series that will continue into the future of collaborations with ORCID, with Crossref, with Indonesian scholars, and as part of this larger global system. So thank you very much, Maria, for this opportunity and for everyone who has attended.
Thanks a lot, John. Tadi John mengatakan bahwa PKP berdiri tahun 98 dan OJS dirilis tahun 2002 hingga saat ini merupakan platform penerbitan jurnal paling banyak digunakan di dunia, dan Indonesia adalah pengguna terbesarnya. Tahun 2023 terdapat lebih dari 50.000 jurnal yang menggunakan platform OJS di dunia, dan Indonesia sudah hampir setengahnya, yaitu mencapai 23.000. Saya sudah mengirimkan chat informasi di chat bahwa tentang statistik penggunaan OJS di seluruh dunia. Saat ini telah menerbitkan lebih dari 2 juta artikel di 150 negara dan 60 bahasa. Tadi mungkin John, you forgot to mention about the publication facts label.
Okay. Can I have a minute to mention it? Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we have a publication facts label that is prepared now for version 3.3 of OJS. So if you are using version 3.3 of OJS, please reach out to Maria or myself, and we will send you the instructions for installing this label that includes a link to the ORCID identification of the editors and the masthead of the journal. That includes includes information on how many reviewers there are for each article, how many days to publication. And so it adds a basis of trust and understanding for the journal in this one label. And it looks a bit like a food label on the back of a jar of peanut butter or whatever it is that you enjoy. But it's intended to go on each article, and we have built it, and it's available as a plugin, just like ORCID. That can be installed in your version of OJS if, at this point, just a trial, if you're using version 3.3, and if the label's only in English at this point, although we can look at translating it into Bahasa as well, but we're just starting with this trial. So thank you, Maria, for this opportunity and reminder that I had forgotten. I never missed an opportunity to pitch and promote the label, but I appreciated you giving me the prompt I needed this time. So again, I invite you, if you're using 3.3, version 3.3, to get in touch with Maria or myself, and we'll provide you with the instructions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you again, John. Tadi John menjelaskan tentang publication fact label. Jadi seperti nutrition fact yang kita kadang-kadang suka temui di Indomaret atau Alfamaret di kemasan makanan dan minuman, itu menjadikan hak pengguna, hak pelanggan untuk mengetahui nilai nutrisinya. Sama dengan publication fact label. Jadi kita sebagai pembaca tahu mengenai nutrisi dalam tanda kutip dari artikelnya. Jadi bisa ada reviewer, bisa ada editor, kita bisa melihat semuanya di situ. Jadi seperti yang sudah dibilang John, bahwa publication fact label ini
This is
Publication
it.
fact label ini, ya.
Can everyone see it for a moment?
Yes, clearly.
Okay. Oops,
Oke,
copy that.
jadi di
Okay.
sini juga ada integrasinya dengan ORCID profile. Jadi kita bisa lihat di situ. Terus kemudian sudah bisa digunakan untuk OJS versi 3.3. Jadi kalau tertarik untuk trial bisa menghubungi saya atau menghubungi John. Mumpung masih trial, silahkan dicoba. Jadi once again, thank you John, always with the insightful, thoughtful project which help us in Indonesia, the Indonesian scholarly publication communities. Thank you once again, John.
Thank you.
Last but not least, now we are listening to the welcoming remarks from the newly appointed rector of the Multimedia Nusantara University, Dr. Andre Andoko, and to open the webinar on adopting ORCID and OJS. Kepada Bapak Rektor, kami persilakan.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Maria. Thanks for the greetings for us. Oke, baik Bapak Ibu yang kami hormati. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam sejahtera buat kita semuanya. Good morning and welcome to the seminar. We hope that all of you are in good health and full of blessing. For UMN, the adopting of ORCID will be beneficial for all lecturers and researchers. As part of our long-term strategic development plan, especially in this 5 years period, UMN is emphasizing on research. After achieving excellence in education by receiving the award from the Excellence in Institutional Accreditation from Indonesia National Board of Accreditation for Higher Education, and also the previous period for the industry collaboration. The result of the researcher are expected to contribute to the betterment of the society and industry, and also to contribute to the raising of the UMN reputation. That's why publication is a compulsory outcome of the research, and every lecturer have to publish as their key performance indicator. Women also encourage the lecturer to publish on the international journal because it will be rewarded more than the national journal. To boost the productivity, then each publication will be rewarded. This initiative also aligned with the UMN priority program to strengthen the international collaboration and reputation by joining the QSR, QS rank, QS sustainability, and also the PHE impact ranking. The reputation is exhibited not just with the number of articles, but also the number of citations. That's why the quality, relevance, and exposure of the articles to the public are vital. UMN also encourages the lecturer to implement the IRN, the International Research Network, on each of the research by collaborating with other researchers from university overseas. The IRN can be established by cooperation at the university level by the international office or by individually. That's why the exposure and visibility of the article to broader researcher and the easiness to find the articles are necessary to get the opportunity to connect with other researchers, especially international researchers. By adopting ORCID, we expect that the researcher will benefit its added value by leveraging the exposure of the journal article to the public and gaining better trust and reputation by increasing the citation. So I would like to thank to the speaker, Mr. John Wilinski, the PKP founder, Ms. Esther Chang, the ORCID engagement manager, and also Mr. Eric Hansen, the PKP system developer. Also, thank you very much to the committee from the UMN Library to organize the seminar. So I hope that you enjoy the seminar and get the benefit from the knowledge shared by the speaker. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Andre, for the atas sambutannya. And once again, congratulations on your inauguration yesterday. to be
Thank you,
University
Bu
of
Maria.
Multimedia Nusantara Rektor. Tadi Pak Andre
Thank you.
menjelaskan bahwa satu kata yang penting dari Pak Andre adalah publikasi adalah indikator keberhasilan, dan juga dengan adanya publikasi, kalau kita hanya mempublish tapi tidak mudah ditemukan, itu akan menjadi sulit gitu. Jadi inilah gunanya webinar ini bersama dengan ORCID.
Oke,
Once
ya.
again, thank
Thank you, Bu
you once
Maria.
again,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Andre.
Oke.
Ya,
Terima
sebelum
kasih, Pak
memulai
Andre.
acara, kami mohon para peserta agar dapat memberikan emotikon hati, senyum, atau tepuk tangan di tombol reaction. Tanda dimulainya acara webinar ini dengan lebih dari 100 peserta. We ask the audience to give the heart, smile, or the clap emoticons, or the thumbs up emoticon. Colleagues from ORCID and OMN need your help to capture this moment. Thank you. Okay, I think you already captured this moment. Bapak dan Ibu, pengakuan publik terhadap, ya, pengakuan publik terhadap seseorang yang menghasilkan penelitian seringkali terjadi karena tidak terdatanya, seperti yang sudah dimention oleh Pak Andre tadi, publikasi ilmiah yang dihasilkan. Sementara mengisi data secara manual beresiko kesalahan yang mengurangi visibilitas dan integritas dari sebuah publikasi. Kendala tersebut dapat diatasi dengan memiliki akun ORCID yang dapat diintegrasikan dengan platform manapun termasuk Open Journal System, sehingga integritas akademik akan tetap terjaga. Kita akan masuk ke acara utama, webinar on adopting ORCID and Open Journal System. Materi akan dibawakan dalam bahasa Inggris, tetapi akan diterjemahkan secara singkat agar dapat dipahami. Pertanyaan diajukan via Q&A, ada tombol di bawah, jangan lewat kolom chat, tetap bisa diajukan dalam bahasa Indonesia maupun dalam bahasa Inggris. Jangan lupa sertakan nama dan juga institusinya, dan akan kami jawab setelah akhir dari sesi kedua. There will be 2 sessions. The first one will be delivered by Estelle Cheng, ORCID Engagement Manager based in Taiwan, who holds a Master of Art in Linguistics, if I'm not mistaken, degree from National Tsinghua University, Hsinchu, Taiwan, and has been working with ORCID since 2018. So I'll pass it over to her to get us started. Over to you, Estelle.
Yeah, terima kasih. Thank you so much, Maria. Yes, so we we're happy to start webinar. And before my presentation, I prepare 3 short questions as a pause for us to better understand the audience today about yourself and your knowledge. So please fill in the question. Let us maybe 2 minutes. And we will share the results immediately afterwards, just to orient ourselves more to understand about the current knowledge and understanding about ORCID and OJS. So I would maybe take another 1 minute.
Bapak dan Ibu, mohon untuk mengisi polling yang ada di screen. Ada 3 pertanyaan.
Yeah, you should. All the audience shall see the polls over their screen, or they can just fill in the form. Okay, I'm going to take another minute. Okay.
Ya, pertanyaan pertama, apakah Bapak dan Ibu mempunyai akun ORCID? Pilihannya ya, saya sudah punya, saya sudah menggunakannya. Saya punya tapi saya tidak terlalu menggunakannya. Saya aware terhadap ORCID tapi belum register. Dan yang terakhir, saya tidak familiar dengan ORCID. Pertanyaan kedua, apakah Bapak dan Ibu aware terhadap plugin ORCID di OJS? Ya, dan pilihan pertama ya, dan organisasi atau universitas saya mengimplementasikannya. Nomor 2, ya, tetapi institusi saya tidak menggunakannya. Yang ketiga ya, tapi organisasi saya OJS versionnya tidak support. Yang keempat, saya tidak familiar dengan ORCID plugin. Nomor 3, apa yang bisa dibantu dari ORCID? Silahkan dijawab di enter the answer.
Yeah. So Kimberly, will we be okay to share the results immediately? Oh, okay. Yes, perfect. Great. Let me just quickly check. So, and I think does everyone can see the results? But basically, it's good to know that over 50% of the participants today already have an ORCID ID and they are using them, which is brilliant. And about the rest, either they have an ORCID ID but they don't use it, or they haven't been able to register for one. So in terms of OJS ORCID plugin, so it seems that the majority audience today actually are not familiar with the OJS ORCID plugin. So yes, then today the webinar will be the perfect occasion for you to definitely understand more. And yeah, as for the rest of the answer, we will take a look to understand more about how ORCID can help you. All right, I'm going to close the pool and I'm going to start my presentation. So let me share my screen. Give me a second. Let me sharing. Yes, can you see my screen now, Maria? Yes?
Yes.
Perfect, okay. So again, please use the Q&A feature to submit your questions, either in English or in Bahasa. And again, thank you so much, Maria, for your facilitation in Bahasa. And if you have any kind of thoughts you want to share, you can use the chat, but please use the QA to submit questions. So I'm going to start sharing now. So my presentation today will be your pocket encyclopedia of ORCID. The title of this webinar is more about all you need to know about ORCID and OJS. And so I want to start from a very basic idea. So in the research ecosystem, there are different roles: researchers, journal publishers, research organization, funding agency, etc. But everyone there or here shares the same goal. We want an open integrated research data ecosystem. And there are a few keywords about what we want. We want better tracking of our outcomes. We want accurate attribution, and we want to enhance discoverability. We also want to reduce administrative burden. And meanwhile, we want to support the global open research practices or the fair data principles. And to enable that, to achieve our goal, persistent identifiers, what we call PIDs, and their associated metadata are the key for open research infrastructure. So there are different entities. We have PIDs for people, researchers, and we have PIDs for organizations, and also for PIDs for research grants, etc. And PIDs enable those different entities can be uniquely identified and connected, as you see in the little graphic, and even more to create reliable links among those. And we're using PIDs not just about entities themselves, and metadata about those different entities can flow reliably together, either within system or across the system in the overall research infrastructure. And an integrated ecosystem requires contributions and commitment, both in parallel, both top-down and bottom-up. So there are different levels from individuals, institutional, national, regional, and international. So it's kind of a circle, both in parallel, different directions. And individuals and publishers in Indonesia has the power to improve trust, metadata quality, and discoverability. So the context Indonesia as shared, Indonesia accounts for PKP OJS largest user community, and researchers and publishers in Indonesia at this point can immediately benefit from adopting ORCID and OJS. The better trustworthy connections all of us can have, the better visibility and discoverability for your authors, reviewers, and research outputs. And again, on the left-hand side, you can see the kind of diagram as an illustration. So it will start from researchers having ORCID ID first, which I think the majority here already do that. And at the institutional level, publishers, you can adopt ORCID into OJS, and those information flow will go into further international services, indexing services, and actually coming back to national services, the different national kind of Sinta, etc. in Indonesia. So that's why we are all excited to share more today. And Maria, now I'll help you to give some bahasa facilitation.
Oke, thank you Estelle. Bapak dan Ibu, tujuan ORCID adalah untuk integrasi data riset ekosistem secara terbuka yang dapat di-tracking, mengurangi pekerjaan administratif sesuai dengan semangat fair data dan riset terbuka. Mungkin istilah PID atau Persistent Identifier masih belum begitu kita kenal, tapi ORCID adalah salah satu contoh utamanya. PID itu terdiri dari entitas orang, tempat, dan objek dan saling terintegrasi dan membentuk infrastruktur penelitian. Jadi contoh secara sederhana seperti KTP gitu ya. Jadi dengan KTP kita bisa kemana-mana. Dapat dilihat di piramida terbalik pada slide, ORCID memang digunakan secara individual oleh peneliti. Tapi jika dimanfaatkan dapat diidentifikasi di OJS di skala institusi, di skala nasional dapat terintegrasi juga dengan Sinta dan juga Garuda. Kita bisa lihat secara internasional nanti datanya akan diindeks dan di database internasional seperti Scopus dan juga Clarivate. You may continue, Estelle.
Thank you. Yeah, so the next few slides, I'm going to introduce ORCID a bit more. So ORCID is independent, non-for-profit organization registered in the US. It's launched from 2012, and ORCID now is sustained by membership fees from different organizations, and ORCID is guided by values and principles, so not guided by commercial values. And ORCID is community governed. We have a board of directors that are elected actually from our member organizations. And ORCID provides three main services. The first, as you know, the ORCID ID. It's a unique PID free of charge for researchers or people who contribute to research. And in addition to the ID itself, you have an ORCID record, or sometimes called profile, connected to the ORCID ID, and it contains different research information from employment, research outputs, funding history, etc. And the third, we have the ORCID APIs. That is the service that enable data exchange between the ORCID database and your platform, such as OJS. And this is the ORCID record or ORCID profile. So you'll see the ORCID ID there, and you'll see different parts of research information, employment, education, etc. Also, you can add more others like website or social links. And till this point, ORCID is growing, and ORCID has a global community network. We have users pretty much in every countries, and now we have member organization in 60 countries over the world. And now we have around 9 million active researchers having an ORCID ID and using them. And we have more than nearly 6,000 systems that are integrated with ORCID. And we have about 1,000, nearly 500 organizational members. So I also want to quickly share the current situation adoption in Indonesia. So at this point, ORCID has one member organization, that is RJI, Runway Journal Indonesia. They are very supportive and has been a very good advocate about ORCID. And as far as we can tell from our statistics, there are about 181,000 researchers with Indonesia affiliations. So they either work at Indonesia, or they study there, or they maybe work as a journal editors there. And the statistics, it shows it's the 15th among ORCID's global statistics, which is rather high. And in terms of affiliations, now we have about 345,000 Indonesia affiliations. This meaning the relationship like employment, education, and qualification, etc. Also, for information, the top 3 affiliations I can find from our database is these 3. But again, it's just a reference to share with you the idea about how the current adoption there in Indonesia. Of course, we definitely believe there are much more potentials. And last but not least, so I want to give a quick summary. So ORCID is a hub of different research-related information that can circulate throughout different systems, from publisher system or institutional system or funding system, etc. And it helps three parts: so reduce administrative burden, improve visibility and trust, and increase discoverability. So over to you, Maria, to give a bit more facilitation.
Oke, thanks Estelle. Bapak dan Ibu, tadi Estelle menjelaskan bahwa ORCID mempunyai 3 layanan. Ada ORCID ID untuk peneliti, itu gratis. Terus kemudian ada ORCID Record, yaitu yang memiliki riwayat pekerjaan, pendidikan, funding, peer review, dan ORCID API untuk pertukaran data. Terdapat 9 juta peneliti di dunia yang mempunyai ORCID ID, tapi tidak sampai 200.000 peneliti di Indonesia yang menggunakannya. Paling banyak berasal dari UI, UGM, dan juga ITB. Terdapat lebih dari 1.000 member organisasi, tapi di Indonesia hanya relawan jurnal Indonesia satu-satunya member ORCID. Semoga setelah webinar ini banyak yang tertarik untuk menjadi member ORCID, baik dalam satu universitas maupun dengan menggunakan skema konsorsium. Untuk mengoptimalkan ORCID Record, peneliti dapat menggunakan DOI, atau Digital Object Identifier, menggunakan fasilitas search dan link, bisa juga dengan auto-update dari DOI Registration Agency seperti Crossref, yang menunjukkan kekuatan dari persistent identifier, seperti yang sudah dijelaskan tadi, yang membuat metadata lebih berkualitas dan juga transparan. ORCID meningkatkan visibilitas dan juga tingkat kepercayaan institusi, dan meningkatkan pencarian data peneliti dan institusi. I'll pass it over to you again, Estelle.
Thank you. So the next, I'm going to spend a few slides to really illustrate why it's so important about trust, and why we keep saying about trustworthy connections or information, and how ORCID commit to that. So as you can imagine now, at ORCID, the data will coming from two sources, and it's so important about the transparent source. So at ORCID, data can be added by researchers themselves. So you would see the source name is researchers' name themselves. Or the data can be added by ORCID member organization, and using the API as I shared. So API is the tool to help data exchange. So organization can use API to add information. This is the example of peer review. So you see the source name is the organization name. So in this example, it's the publisher F1000. So transparency in who is adding what, the information, is very important to evaluate trustworthiness. And why? Because if the information is added by the organization using API, we call it validated information. It's directly coming from the organization, and it's even more useful. So when an ORCID member updates or add information, the source name is the organization's name, and we call such trust markers, because trust markers means that this piece of information is validated. And usually in practices, researcher organization can add affiliations, employment, publishers, adding research outputs or reviews, which we will share later on about how you can use OJS doing that, and also funders adding funding awards. And now we have a new feature called Trust Summary, and it's both available in your ORCID records, so you can log into your ORCID record and you see that. And it's also available in API data exchange. And basically, the Trust Summaries provides a quick means for both people and for machines to understand the contents of an ORCID record. So you can see how many works are validated, directly added by publishers or organizations, and how many works are self-asserted. So, and this feature can either be directly linked in the editorial system or pulled from APIs and reused. So to kind of give a high-level summary, to recap, so as you definitely can understand or relate, if we have more trust markers, more validated information, that means more trustworthiness over time. as in you can see from the illustration, but you see, you have the green check marks. Or I should also mention, so the green, so if in the ORCID registry, in your ORCID records, the source, if it's added by researchers themselves, it's the kind of person icon. And for any information that is validated, we have the green check marks. So the more check marks somehow means more trust markers. It provides more trustworthiness over time. And over to you, Maria.
Oke, thanks Estelle. Bapak dan Ibu, kalau kita bicara soal tingkat kepercayaan, pasti mengacu kepada transparansi data. Bisa dilihat di contoh di slide yang pertama tadi, kita lebih percaya dengan data yang di-input secara manual oleh orang atau dengan data dari member institusi yang terpercaya yang ada green check mark-nya atau ada tanda hijaunya. Jadi tingkat kepercayaan akan berpengaruh pada pengambilan keputusan. Penerbit dapat menggunakan ringkasan kepercayaan pada alur kerja editorial di Open Journal Systems yang juga diterapkan di Publication Facts label plugin yang sudah dijelaskan oleh John tadi. Jadi jangan lupa Bapak Ibu yang sudah memiliki akun ORCID bisa dilihat lagi apa semua publikasinya sudah terdeteksi dan apa ada tanda hijaunya di setiap publikasinya atau jangan-jangan hanya nama kita sendiri, terutama di bidang karya kita. Nanti bisa dilihat. Oke, Estelle, you can continue with your slides.
Thank you. And from now on, I'm going to share about then how the research company can really take actions to enable that. So there are two parts, both individuals and organizations play a role. So for individuals, if you haven't registered for ORCID ID, so please do so now, and you can connect it anytime at any system you encounter in the research workflow. And for organizations, you can integrate ORCID into your systems. And let me start from researchers. So the best practice for researchers are really straightforward. The first, of course, register, and please visit the link there. And if you haven't register for your ORCID ID, and we also have a very detailed support article just to let you know if you encounter any question about during the registration process. But I'm going to talk more today about how researchers can optimize your ORCID record if you already have an ORCID record, and what you can do to make it more versatile and more useful. So there are three services ORCID work with jointly with other PIT providers to help researchers to optimize your ORCID records. So the first is AdWorks using an identifier such as DOI. So researchers can add any types of research outputs from journal publications or like software, etc., using the feature DOI. Most DOI registration agency, Crossref, DataCite, or even the more regional one like Japan Link Center or Korean HIST, they all support this. The second is called Search and Link Wizard. So these are tools actually built by ORCID member organizations that allow researchers so you can import information from different external resources to your ORCID records. The third is auto update by DOI registration agency. So this will happen from when researchers submit their works or like data sets for data centers or in publishers at that time. So you connect your ORCID IDs, and publishers or data centers make ORCID ID a part of DOI registration metadata. And in the later, those DOIRs will help you by working with ORCID to help researchers to get auto updates, which I will explain later on. So the first, let's start from the most straightforward one, is adding works using DOIs. So once you go to the work section, you will you click add. There are different ways for researchers to add the information. So one of them is adding by DOI. So it's straightforward. And of course, the source name will be researcher, as I shared. And the second is also search and link wizards. And so it's a tool. So if you go to, again, AdWorks, you see search and link, the option. So it allows researchers to use these services to claim their research database in external resources and coming back to your ORCID records. So what you can do is that you click search and link wizard, and you see different options, and you choose the data source that you want to to import information from them to ORCID, and you will go to all screen, and then following their services, eventually you will get the works imported from their source, from their database, and the source then will be you via the services. So for instance, this is me via the services provided by RET. So again, this gives everyone the kind of indicator about who is adding what. So it's me adding this via this service. And the third is the auto update part, which I'm going to explain in more detail, especially about the Crossref use case. So the first, this is the workflow. It starts from researchers. So you connect your ORCID ID during the manuscript submission process. For instance, you connect your ORCID IDs when you use OJS to submit your journal articles. And then when the journal publishers, when they're going to register for DOIs, like when they're going to register DOI from Crossref, you embed those ORCID IDs as a part of DOI registration metadata. So then the Crossref, those DOI agency, they will know that this work has those ORCID IDs, so they know who those contributors or authors are, and then they will inform those authors. And when those authors or contributors say, yes, I want to have auto update, and this will happen. And it helps, of course, to save time for researchers and again, to kind of preserve metadata quality from the start. So this is the detailed kind of further illustration about Crossref auto update. So please note it's Crossref auto update, because each RA, each DO agency, they have a different workflow, a bit different workflow. So this time focusing on Crossref. So let me go back again. So once you do that, so researchers, you connect your ORCID IDs when you submit your journal articles in OJS, and those publishers, they will make ORCID ID when a part of the DOI registration metadata, and then Crossref, of course, will have this information. And then Crossref will send a notification to researchers' ORCID inbox. Please note it's ORCID inbox, and your works will only be added to your ORCID records once you grant permission to Crossref, and you need to do only once. And this is the example. So once Crossref receives your ORCID ID from the previous workflow, they will send a notification to your ORCID inbox, and you will see that. And what you need to do is you need to click grant permission for just one time. And in the future, researchers can receive the auto update features. And in the meanwhile, please also, you need to check your ORCID account setting, because in your ORCID account setting, you need to ensure you are open to notifications. Otherwise, you won't be able to receive such to grant permissions. So these are kind of several small pieces, but I want to ensure that everyone here understands the rationale and the steps. Okay, over to you, Maria.
Okay, thanks Estelle. Tadi Estelle menjelaskan bahwa peneliti dan universitas sama-sama mempunyai peranan penting. Peneliti mendaftarkan akun ORCID, organisasi atau universitas mengintegrasikan ORCID dengan workflow riset. Sudah di-share tadi di kolom chat bagaimana cara mendapatkan akun ORCID untuk Bapak Ibu yang belum mempunyainya. Jadi daftarkan semua publikasi Bapak dan Ibu, baik melalui digital object identifier, baik melalui link publikasi atau dengan fitur auto update yang terintegrasi dengan Crossref dan DataCite. Estelle sudah menjelaskan tadi step-stepnya. Nah, mengenai Crossref auto update, jangan lupa untuk selalu mengecek apakah ORCID account setting Bapak Ibu itu open to notification. Dan Bapak Ibu bisa mendapatkan Crossref auto update dengan mengklik tombol grant permission. Oke.
Okay.
Over to you, Estelle.
Yeah, thank you. So next, just quickly share. So OJS, as John actually shared, is one of the ORCID certified system. So we have got several, and OJS, of course, the most kind of widely adopted, and it follows ORCID best practices. So by publishers doing so, you can there are several benefits. You can save your time and money because you can use ORCID to enhance the current services, and you can also ensure recognition because you can give credit for their review work by adding more peer review activities to those peer reviewer ORCID records, and then you increase trust because you can contribute more trust markers that definitely help the research community to understand the information that has been validated. So I'm going to share. So this is the ORCID OJS plugin, which I believe Eric definitely will share more. So researchers can connect ORCID and OJS via the OJS ORCID plugin. And if I'm not mistaken, the ORCID profile plugin is for OJS 3.1 above. So if you are using 2, please consider upgrade. Then you can benefit from this. And publishers now in Indonesia, if you are using OJS 3.1 above, you can immediately doing this via the OJS ORCID plugin. And this is what we do. So once the researcher can click this, create or connect, they will see the screen, and we call it authentication, but basically just a screen about connection. So after researchers or reviewers, authors, they create this, they will be redirected to the screen, and what they do, just click authorize. That's it for one time. And this is ORCID plugin configuration at the OJS part. So I'm going to share this more because you will see this. You need ORCID API key to enable that. Then what exactly the ORCID API means? So in short, in ORCID, in OJS and in ORCID for sure, there are 2 types of ORCID API, and both are supported in OJS. The first is the member API, but it will require ORCID membership, so publishers needs to join ORCID as a member. But the member API is associated with organizations, and you will have monthly API integration reports for your information, and you can synchronize, including getting information from ORCID to OJS, and you can add information from OJS to ORCID. It's a bi-directional process, so you don't need manual creations, as I shared here. And very recently, we'll start some measures. We will only allow member API the kind of unlimited traffic and no usage quota. And you will have, of course, dedicated support from the ORCID team because we serve our members. And I also want to share about public API. So public API is free, but it's only associated with individuals. So you cannot have a public API under organization name. That's a breach to our terms and conditions. And public API is only able to read information, so you cannot have this data synchronization. And also there's less API traffic, and there are some limitations about the usage you can use per day, because we need to ensure members receive the majority of the API features. And in terms of public API, you get community support. So ORCID's supporting is more focused on our members. But of course, as a community organization, we also provide more community resources to public API. And also to let you know, very important about the source part. So via a member API, you can add peer reviews, which can definitely increase your institutional visibility via your OJS. The source name is your organization or UJS. You can see here, this is the example about peer review. So at OJS now, you can add peer reviews and works to ORCID. And this is the example of peer review. And this is example about journal publications. And this is the example from the university. I think it's in Europe or somewhere, but it's a real example. So you see the source name is your organization, and you can directly use that to increase your institutional visibility. But however, as I said, you can use public API too. So you can collect ORCID IDs and make them a part of directory metadata from Crossref services, and allows the ORCID record to be automatic updated too. So, but the source name will be Crossref. I want to be clear about that because it's essentially it's Crossref just doing the adding part. So yeah, over to you, Maria.
Oke, thank you Estelle. Jadi Esther menjelaskan mengenai best practice dari ORCID adalah yang pertama adalah integrasi dengan Open Journal Systems yang bisa digunakan mulai dari OJS versi 3.1.2. Jadi kalau Bapak Ibu masih ada yang di OJS 2.4 gitu, langsung saja upgrade. Ada 2 tipe API, yang keduanya disupport oleh Open Journal Systems. Member API itu untuk organisasi yang dapat menambahkan peer review di akun ORCID peneliti. Dan jika ada kendala, akan ada support dari tim ORCID-nya langsung. Jadi untuk peer review ini sangat berguna Bapak Ibu. Jadi untuk reviewer yang sudah mereview satu artikel, role-nya itu dapat disambungkan ke ORCID profile dari reviewer tersebut. Peer review dapat meningkatkan tingkat kepercayaan dan visibilitas institusi melalui Open Journal System. Yang kedua ada Public API. Ini untuk individu yang terbatas kuota penggunaannya dan dukungannya hanya lewat komunitas, jadi bukan langsung dari tim ORCID-nya. Dengan Public API, ORCID ID dapat menjadi bagian dari registrasi metadata di OI seperti Crossref. Mengenai tipe API ini nanti akan dijelaskan secara rinci oleh Eric di sesi yang kedua. So I'm going over to you, Estelle.
Sure. Yeah. I hope I still get some time, but yeah, I'm going to wrap up. So in short, we want to improve trust. We want to improve discovery by adopting ORCID and the OJS ORCID plugin. This is what we can do for publishers, and you can add those publication or peer review along with the ORCID ID to your researchers or reviewers ORCID ID records. And then the such information, ORCID ID and the trust markers, as I shared, they will be read from different sources because ORCID is a hub that allows different research information kind of flow around. So different external sources like indexing services, they will also collect information from ORCID to their internal use. And such ORCID IDs and trust markers, etc., will be reused in those indexes and database services about data curation, etc. And of course, this kind of trustworthy information will be further as the base to be used in rankings and evaluation. As we know, those rankings mostly also rely on indexing services data. But so if we can get more data that are trustworthy and validated, that will definitely help for the future ranking practices. And yeah, so recap and actions. So I just want to share again that transparent connections enabled by PEEP and the metadata among researchers, organizations, and research data will be the building block for an open research infrastructure. And so as a start, please register for your ORCID ID, researchers, if you haven't, and please let us know your interest. You can fill in the application form to let us know your institution and how you are going to interested in using ORCID. And free to apply for sandbox testing. It's completely free, so you can test out. So thank you. And by the way, the slides will be available for all of us after webinar, so you don't need to worry about slides. And yes, discussion and feedback. So I think we'll take this at the end of the presentation after Eric's one. So I'm going to pause for now. So Maria, do you want to have further facilitation? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Bapak dan Ibu, kalau kita lihat tadi ada siklusnya kurang lebih seperti ini. Jadi ORCID terintegrasi di Open Journal System, terrekord di indexing service seperti Clarivate, digunakan di database Scopus, data digunakan untuk ranking dan evaluasi di QS World University Ranking. Jadi semuanya saling terkait. Kesimpulannya, koneksi yang transparan yang dibuka oleh persistent identifier atau PID di antara peneliti, organisasi, dan data riset seperti potongan Lego untuk membangun sebuah rumah atau sebuah infrastruktur riset yang terbuka. Jadi Bapak Ibu segera miliki akun ORCID dan ingatkan dosen-dosen lain untuk segera memilikinya. Silakan hubungi Estelle jika institusinya tertarik untuk mengadopsi ORCID, baik dalam skala universitas maupun lewat skema konsorsium. Form aplikasinya bisa dibantu di-share di kolom chat oleh Kimberly maupun Orisa. Jadi untuk trial member API, silakan juga isi form aplikasi sandbox-nya. Nanti bisa di-share di kolom chat. Once again, thank you so much for the presentation, Estelle.
Thank you so much. I'm going to hand over to you.
Okay, now let us move to the second session on how to maximize the ORCID plugin in Open Journal Systems platform with Eric Hansen, PKP's system developer since 2019, based in Canada right now. He holds a Master's of Library and Information Studies from the University of British Columbia, also Masters of Publishing from Simon Fraser University. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Eric, for the next 30 minutes. Don't forget to pause at certain slides for the translation.
Thank you very much, Maria. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about ORCID and its OJS integration, as well as provide a live demonstration of how this works, as well as an explanation of some of the OJS side of things that Estelle has shown us. So to start with, just give a brief outline of the agenda I will be going over today. We'll give just a short introduction to PKP, Open Journal Systems, and some of our other software as a whole. I will also go over how the ORCID functionality works within OJS. And after that, I will do a short demo of these integrations within the Open Journal Systems software. And then we'll have time for some questions at the end. So Maria has already given me a wonderful introduction that includes most of this, but in my presentations, I like to include this little question word sheet just to give a brief overview of who I am. So my name is Eric Hansen. As Maria mentioned, I am a software developer based in Vancouver, Canada, and I have been working with PKP since 2019. And I like to include a why in these types of presentations, just to provide a bit of background as to why I personally care about these things. And for me, this is about furthering open access to scholarly research and furthering the works of open science and open research. So just a brief overview of what PKP is. It's the Public Knowledge Project, and we heard a little bit about this from John already, but it was established by Dr. John Walensky in 1998, and it is a research and development project that creates and supports open infrastructure to improve the quality, reach, and diversity of scholarly publication. PKP also develops, as you may know, open source software for scholarly publishing, and this includes open journal systems, which I will be talking about primarily today, but it also includes open monograph press and open preprint systems. The open monograph press is focused on book length items, and the open preprint systems is, as the name suggests, focused on preprint servers. And the ORCID integration works with all of these, but today I will be focusing on open journal systems specifically. So many of you may know what OJS is, but just to give some numbers and a little bit of background to it, I'd like to include some information about that. It is the world's most widely used open source journal publishing software. And some numbers in 2023, so last year, it had more than 50,000 journals using OJS to publish more than 2 million articles in 150 countries across 60 different languages. It's used to manage and facilitate all aspects of the scholarly publishing workflow, starting with submissions, which allows authors to submit to the journal through a configurable step-by-step submission wizard, to reviews, which allows you to select peer reviewers, assign due dates, and send reminders to stay on schedule, the production process, which allows for all aspects of editorial and the production to be tracked, such as things like substantive editing, copy editing, layouts, etc., and publication, which allows you to collect your articles, editorials, reviews, and any other materials into collected issues and publish them online in a mobile-friendly website. And finally, last but not least, which is what is under discussion here today, is the distribution and discovery mechanisms within OJS. So this allows for the drive of dissemination and discovery of your work through services like ORCID, Google Scholar, things like the Directory of Open Access Journals, Crossref, various metadata protocols, and harvesters, and more. And I will turn things over to Maria for some translation of this.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Seperti sudah dijelaskan di awal, Bapak Ibu, Open Journal Systems adalah platform penerbitan jurnal yang paling banyak digunakan di seluruh dunia, yaitu ada 50.000 jurnal yang menggunakannya pada tahun 2023, dan Indonesia adalah pengguna terbesarnya. Workflow penerbitan ilmiah yang difasilitasi oleh submission memungkinkan penulis untuk mensubmit artikel. Review dapat digunakan untuk menunjuk reviewer, menetapkan deadline. Production mencakup copy editing dan juga layout. Publication menjadikan artikel dipublikasikan ke dalam sebuah isu jurnal. Distribusi menyebarkan artikel sehingga artikel dapat ditemukan baik lewat ORCID, Google Scholar, DOAJ, dan juga Crossref dan lain-lain. I'm going back to you, Eric.
Thanks. So now that I've given a bit of background on OJS as a whole, I'd like to talk about the ORCID functionality within OJS. So there are a few key things that I'd like to focus in on. So there are really, as I've grouped it, 3 key features to the integration. The first one, it allows journal managers to send emails requesting ORCID authentication upon submission or later. It allows for the automated email-based ORCID authentication when a submission enters production. So by production, in this case, I mean once it has been accepted and has gone through peer review, or whatever that means in your journal's context. And finally, one of the key features is the display of the ORCID status in author metadata. So this could be in machine-readable metadata that gets sent out to other services or the article display page itself. And as Estelle mentioned, there are the 2 different types of ORCID APIs. There's the public API and the members API. And as she mentioned, this is divided up between, as I've kind of put in the parentheses, the ability to read information from ORCID. And in OJS, this looks like authenticating ORCIDs and displaying it in OJS. And the member API allows you to also write back information from your journal to ORCID profiles. So what this looks like in OJS is the ability to synchronize submission metadata to authorize records on or after publication. So this can happen when a submission is assigned to an already published issue, a new issue is published, or an author grants permission to ORCID after an issue has already been published. And the abilities within the member API also includes peer review contribution metadata, being able to push these to authorize records upon review completion. And within OJS, this is supported within our anonymized and open peer review models. And the peer review functionality is particularly relevant because this is the only way that peer review contributions can be added to an ORCID member's profile. It has to come from the source because it is not possible to claim peer review directly, especially in an anonymous setting. So before I go on to the demo, I will hand things back to Maria for some translation of that information.
Okay, thanks Eric. Integrasi ORCID di Open Journal Systems dapat dilihat pada proses editorial dan juga production, juga pada proses publikasi dan secara otomatis muncul di ORCID profile, baik sebagai penulis maupun sebagai reviewer. Sebelumnya sudah dijelaskan bahwa ada 2 ORCID API, public API, ini yang dapat digunakan oleh siapapun. Mereka dapat mengupdate akun ORCID dan akun tersebut akan diidentifikasi dan ditampilkan di Open Journal Systems. Sementara API yang kedua adalah Member API, itu kebalikannya. Jadi Open Journal System yang akan mempush metadata dan akan otomatis diupdate di akun ORCID-nya. Tentunya sesudah author grant permission atau memberikan izin pada ORCID. Keuntungan menjadi member ORCID termasuk role peer reviewer yang akan muncul di bagian karya atau work dari di akun ORCID. Oke, over to you for the live demo, Eric.
Thank you. So I will be demonstrating 2 different aspects. The first one will be the author workflow, and the second will be the reviewer workflow. And I will talk through what each of these are and show how they look in an ORCID profile as that demo progresses. So I'm going to switch over to an OJS journal, and this is a OJS 3.3 journal. As Estelle mentioned, the ORCID integration is available in some form for earlier, but it is, I believe, 3.2.1 is the earliest version, which supports most of these features. And all of what I'm going to show today is part of the OJS 3.3 long-term support version, or LTS. So I'm going to start by logging in as the kind of admin user, just because that makes it easier for demonstration purposes. But what I'm going to start with is showing you how you enable the plugin and what that looks like in the context. So it's already included in the plugins that are available. So I need to go find it under generic plugins. See it here. Go over here and enable the plugin. We see that has worked. And we have to enable the settings in order to provide our API key and specify which API we will be using. So for my demonstration purposes, I have these already preset, so I do not have to type them in during the demo. But you can choose between either the member or public APIs and the production or a testing sandbox. And for my purposes today, I'm going to be using the member sandbox API. So this includes that, the credentials, as well as these two important pieces of information. Both the country and city are required pieces of metadata for the review contributions. And finally, we do want to send emails to request ORCID authorization for authors when an article is accepted. So I'll include that as well. Okay, so that is set up now. Now I'm going to log out as this user and log in as a user that I made beforehand and create a new submission. Okay. I'm going to skip through most of this for the demo process, but if you are interested more in the overall OJS submission workflow and editorial process, we have a lot of information on this in the PKP school and in the PKP documentation hub as a whole. And I can provide a link to that after the presentation as well. So we move on. Next, just as part of this process, we will upload a file that has some generic text as the document. Say it is article text. Move on, give it an ORCID webinar test submission. Add some text for the abstract and save and continue. We finish our submission. So on the author side of things, that process is done. We go back, log in here, and we will see now this ORCID webinar test submission is here. For our purposes today, we're going to skip over most of the editorial process within OJS just to focus on the ORCID aspects. So we'll skip review. Send it to production. And if this is a test email inbox, and we will see that among many emails about this journal that we have here, I have received requesting ORCID access. So this is the email you would receive if you've submitted a submission through OJS that has the ORCID functionality enabled, asking you to link your ORCID. And the exact text here will depend on whether the public API or the member API is being used, and the exact functionality will differ. And I can show you what the difference between those two will be as it goes along. So the next step, I am sent to ORCID to log in. And then I'm sent back to the journal. And we will see that, great, my ORCID ID has been verified and successfully associated with the submission, which is exactly what we wanted to see. So we can go ahead and close that now. And back in OJS, if we come into the publication data and look at contributors and come here, we will also see that, yes, my ORCID is now here. Then we'll move on, publish this to an already published issue. And this is the final step of the publication process, where I'll give you one final reminder saying you are about to publish this live and all of the things that includes, including sending it off to ORCID. So if everything has gone correctly, we see that my ORCID is here. And if I click on my ORCID profile with any luck, yes, we see that this ORCID webinar test submission is indeed in my ORCID profile. It has all of the information you would expect. And as Estelle was mentioning, it does have the green check mark saying this is from the integration from, in this case, the OJS ORCID integration development integration, but this will be whatever is being used by the journal in question. So I'll pause there before demonstrating the review functionality for Maria to do some summarization.
Oke, thanks a lot, Eric. Plugin ORCID yang di manage PKP itu tidak perlu diinstal Bapak Ibu, tapi harus di-enable di website, kemudian kita ke setting, lalu plugin. Lalu setting API-nya, kurang lebih sama pada saat kita konfigurasi digital object identifier dari Crossref, kalau kita ingat. Dan juga jangan lupa untuk mencentang box send email to author untuk request akses ke nya. Integrasi ORCID pada Open Journal System itu berpengaruh pada author workflow yang pertama. Contoh yang diberikan Eric yaitu menggunakan member API, jadi author submit artikel seperti biasa. Jika proses review sudah selesai, terdapat email ke author untuk autentifikasi ORCID. Setelah itu, artikel dipublish, dapat dilihat di landing page-nya, ada link ke ORCID di bawah nama author, seperti yang didemonstrasikan oleh Eric tadi. Jadi jika author masuk ke akun ORCID-nya, lihat di bagian work, secara otomatis metadata artikel di Open Journal System tadi sudah muncul. Tetapi sekali lagi ini kalau kita menjadi member dari ORCID. Oke, pass it over to you again, Eric.
Thank you very much. I will now demonstrate the reviewer functionality, and one minor thing I did not mention. So this here on the author landing page, which is very bare in this demonstration, but this would normally have the abstract, keywords, DOI, link to the PDF, citation, etc. But this is what is available with the public API. It's showing up in my profile here is what is available through the member API. I just wanted to highlight that difference as well. And so now we'll go back and do an example of the registration process. And I've been asked if I could make this size a little bigger. I'm not sure if that works, but I will attempt to do that. Anyway, so we will take a submission that is currently not gone into the review process just for this demonstration purpose. So I will take this submission. I will then send it to the review process, again, skipping over a lot of the details. And if you would like some more information about how all of this works in OJS, I suggest you visit the BKP documentation. But I will add myself as a reviewer, invite myself to review this, and then I will use a feature within OJS to log in as this reviewer. Normally, the reviewer would receive an email and access that separately, but just for the sake of this demo, I will just log in directly. And I see that I do indeed have a review assignment ready for me. How this differs from the author process, and this is available for authors as well if they do have an account, an OJS account with the journal. Go to edit profile, and now I will be directly linking my ORCID with my OJS account rather than with a individual submission. So the process here is the same. Click the create or connect your ORCID. Once again, have this pop up, log in. And we see that now my ORCID is linked with my OJS profile. So now this means when I finish this review assignment, that ORCID will be linked with this review. So again, we'll move through this review process quickly. Accept submission, and I will now submit my review. If only all reviews were that easy and quick to do. Now I will go back to the admin user and find this submission and see, yes, new reviews have been submitted. I will go and view that. And again, just for the demonstration purposes, normally this would be an editor doing this, not an administrator user. So I will log in as a journal editor. I will then look at the review to acknowledge it, confirm it, and this is the final step necessary in order to send the contribution to ORCID. I will then thank the reviewer, and the reviewer will both get an email and it will appear in the ORCID profile. So, because I've now lost the ORCID link, I come back here. I will see that I do indeed have a peer review contribution that again acknowledges what the convening organization was and what the source was with the green check mark. So I'll go back to Maria for a summary of that as well.
Okay, thank you, Eric. So, integrasi ORCID juga berpengaruh pada review workflow jika menggunakan member ORCID. Sesudah ada submission artikel, masuk ke tahap review, kita assign reviewer. Jika review sudah selesai, kita tambahkan ORCID sebagai reviewer ke akun ORCID-nya. Jadi kita bisa login sebagai editor untuk membaca review, terus kemudian kita kirim email thank you. Secara otomatis role reviewer dapat dilihat di ORCID profilnya. Bisa dilihat di situ di peer review, dia sudah melakukan review untuk jurnal apa, tanggal berapa. Okay, thank you Eric for the informative and interactive presentation live demo. I've seen some question in question and answer. Wait a second. I think if the question is in English, then you can reply directly in the Q&A box. I will be more focused on the Indonesian question. Wait a second. The first question comes from Pak Hendra. Is Google Scholar and Sinta ID I think the question will go to Estelle. Is Google Scholar and Sinta ID can be connected or synchronized with ORCID? Even though in the ORCID there will be a green check mark, which will be used by the ORCID ID when they publish the publication. Yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah. Sorry, Maria, can I answer now or?
Yes.
Okay, just quickly. Again, there's another question. I accidentally marked it as, I will also take another question from the QA box. So the first Sinta ID and Google Scholar ID. Unfortunately, the answer at this point is no. It's because we haven't been able to start more conversation with Google. as you know, Google is quite monopoly over the world. So, but we tried. But I think now you can import works, but not able about linking the Google Scholar ID to ORCID ID. And as for Sinta, so actually I have met the Sinta team last July when I visited Jakarta. We are starting to have more conversations, and we do hope that in the near future we can be more interoperable, connect with each other. But at this point, it's ongoing. And I will take another question, Maria, if that's okay, because I learned someone share in the chat box English, but I accidentally mark it, so I will take that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that
Okay.
they try about importing DOI. I mean, sometimes it could be failed, but it's because there could be some data exchange issue between the DOI agency and ORCID. But usually when we found that, or when you found that, you can write an email to ORCID support@orcid.org, or you can contact DOI agencies and we will try to troubleshoot a bit. But that's really the feature that we encourage use. But yeah, of course, sometimes it may have some glitches. So that's it. If you just find anything, you can let us know or let the DOI know. I'm going to mark it.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Oke, thank you Estelle. Tadi pertanyaan dari Pak Hendra, apakah bisa disinkron? Untuk saat ini belum ya Pak Hendra. Jadi kita sedang berusaha, ORCID sedang berusaha untuk mencoba bernegosiasi dengan Google dan juga dengan Kementerian Pendidikan di Indonesia. Ada lagi pertanyaan dari Sukmawati. A question from Sukmawati. Wait a second. Is ORCID provide the verification system in terms of paper that publish or register in the ORCID system? That is the question number 1. And the question number 2, can you explain more?
I take that one because the researcher or the user, he or she provides translate part. So I already take that one. Okay, good.
Oh, okay. Okay, then.
He used English translation, so I'm able to answer his question or her question.
Okay.
In chat. Thank you.
Okay.
Close it now.
Question from Mike. Estelle?
Sorry, it looks like I'm frozen.
Hello?
Hello, hello. Sorry, I'm frozen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is it okay now?
Okay. Do you want to take that question? Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
Do you answer directly the question from Kusumawati?
Which question? Sorry, I turned off my camera because it looks like I'm really.
Yeah. Do you want to take a question from Utami Kusumawati? And
I already answered that in the chat. Sorry, in the inbox, in the Q&A. I typed my answer there. Do you hear me, Maria?
Estelle, it's Kimberly. I can hear you. I think Maria is also having some internet issues.
Okay, and then maybe we can. Oh, there are some questions in Bahasa. So
sorry.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Maria, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, yeah. So then please go ahead. So I think we have a few minutes. We do have a few questions in Bahasa.
Okay. A question from Nani Sari Murni. She wants to know why her ORCID ID ended with X letter, while the other is with the number.
Sure. Yeah, that's in short. That's a totally valid ORCID ID. I think it's because we use the easily formation. There's kind of the formation problem, and then let me share. We have an article about that, but don't worry, that's a valid ORCID ID. I will just share the link in a minute.
Oke. Untuk Ibu Nani, akun ORCID-nya valid, tenang aja Bu. Akan di-share linknya dalam waktu dekat. Sebentar, sedang dicari oleh Estel. Oh ya, ini ada pertanyaan lagi dari Pak Edi. Apakah when we register into a journal, sometimes we are asking to link to ORCID ID, but the problem is sometimes the link is broken. So what about the solution? What about the solution? Eric, maybe you can take that question.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So this is when a user is registering for an OJS journal and which link is broken?
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I need some more information. I don't understand which link isn't working. So if it's
Okay.
about the user registration page, we have had some problems with that in the past. But if they are experiencing a specific problem, not the generic problem, I would recommend they go to the PKP forum with their question and can get help both from PKP and others in the community there. And I will put a link to that in the chat as well.
Okay. What Pak Edi mentioned is about they already insert the ORCID ID. When they enter it, it link to nowhere. I think he already insert the ORCID ID, but it doesn't go anywhere.
Maria, I am afraid I may need further context to be able to provide more information. Yeah. So yeah, maybe
Okay.
yeah,
Pak Edi,
invite.
wait a second. Let me ask Pak Edi. Pak Edi, maybe you or Kimberly, can you unmute Pak Edi Sugianto and ask the question directly?
And you want this person to be, you want me to ask them to unmute?
Yeah.
Okay, yep, just a second.
And by the way, I also want to ensure that how many times we have Kimberly. I'm aware that actually it's up. Shall we go to another 10-15 minutes or 10 minutes? I just want to ensure. How do you feel about that?
We certainly have, another 10 minutes or so.
Okay,
if you
perfect.
I need a few minutes to find this person in the participants list. So if there's another question we want to move to and then follow up with this one after.
Okay, sure. Then maybe Maria, you can we can go to next question first. And I think we shall spend the next 10.
Okay.
Yeah, next question. Yeah, and we will have another 10 questions for the live QA. And if you do have question, please feel free to submit still. If we cannot resolve those immediately, we will include that in our follow-up emails. So don't worry, just ask questions. Even we can't answer now, we will include it in the follow-up emails. But I think we will have another 10 minutes as a QA part and to wrap up this. Thank you.
Okay. There is another question from Sukmawati. She wants to ask, she is right now is students, and she used the student's account in the university. It can be synchronized with the account where she work right now.
No.
Estelle, can you take that question?
Yeah, no. So because if you want your organization's information synchronized with ORCID, that means the organization needs to be an ORCID member first. And otherwise, the researcher or with the student, he or she's themselves, they need to add more information. So, but the information cannot be automatically linked from their school system to ORCID. So that's it.
Oke. Ya, jadi tidak bisa di-link antara akun universitas dengan akun tempat bekerjanya ya, Mbak Sukmawati. Oke. There is a question also from Maya Safriana Effendi. She ever register into ORCID and use it, but when she tried to open it, I think the password she forgot. Is it okay if she do the re-registration, or just forget the password and yeah?
Yeah, so if you
What should she do?
Yeah, we have the support article. I can share it. So if you forget your password, you can try to use the lost password feature. I think they will just go through the process to ensure you can get one. But if you lost the email that you used to register for your ORCID ID, that may be a bit difficult. So please support ORCID support ORCID supporting. Let me add here. So you can contact support.orcid.org to let the support team know your questions, or you can use the forget password feature. Yes, let me just, yeah, I already typed in the chat. So that's it. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Estelle. Oke, apakah ada pertanyaan lain? Terima kasih buat Pak Fuad sama Pak Ananto untuk menjawab pertanyaan dari Pak Edi tadi. Apakah semua pertanyaannya sudah dijawab?
Iya, Bu.
Ya.
Selamat siang, Bu. Ya,
ya Pak Edi, silakan Pak Edi.
Ya,
Siang.
saya ini di bahasa Indonesia saja, Bu ya. Oke, Bu.
Boleh.
Ya. Jadi ketika saya punya pengalaman ketika register di satu jurnal, kemudian ketika kita mengisi profil, di sana ada menu publik gitu ya, publik. Lalu ada diminta create or connect your ORCID ID. Nah, itu kan kita klik, itu bisa kita klik, ada pilihan create. Nah, ketika saya klik itu larinya ke ini, Bu. Jadi dia tulisannya ini muncul sebuah web, tulisannya error gitu, incorrect auto link missing client ID parameter gitu. Nah, itu kendalanya itu sih, Bu. Maksudnya saya sudah punya ORCID ID, tetapi ketika diklik harusnya dikonekkan. Ketika dikonekkan harusnya kan muncul, tapi dia tidak bisa sambung ke sana, Bu. Itu aja kendalanya sih, Bu.
Oke. Itu waktu itu kejadiannya sekitar berapa tahun, Pak? Berapa tahun yang lalu atau baru-baru, Pak?
Baru-baru ini sih, Bu, dalam mungkin bulan ini, karena saya berusaha beberapa daftar di OJS gitu. Di jurnal-jurnal maksudnya.
Oke. Terus ya, boleh tahu Pak, kira-kira OJS-nya OJS berapa?
Ini OJS berapa ya? Ini saya mendaftar sebagai autor, Bu, Masnya, Bu ya, sebagai autor.
Iya, betul.
Ya. Untuk mengetahui OJS-nya itu dari mana, Bu ya?
Itu klik kanan ada
di mananya, Bu, bagian apa?
Sebentar. Ya, Bapak klik kanan di sembarang.
Ya.
Terus kemudian bisa lihat di source, saya lupa, web source atau something, Pak. Nanti bisa lihat di situ di bagian bawah, Pak. Klik kanan akan ada pilihannya. Bapak
view
klik
source,
bagian bawah.
View source kan?
Ya, view source, yes, view source. Nanti Bapak bisa lihat itu Open Journal System versi berapa. Langsung Ctrl F, Open Journal Systems.
Oh, versi 3.2, Bu.
3.2, oke.
Iya.
Oke.
3.
Oke.
Iya.
Jurnalnya, judulnya apa, Pak? Maaf.
Yang ini kebetulan Mitra Sriwijaya, Bu.
Mitra Sriwijaya. Oke. Oke. Thank you, Pak Edi.
Oke, Bu.
So Eric, ya. So Eric, Pak Edi recently have problems when he tries to register as an author into Mitra Sriwijaya Journal, which is in Sumatra. I think when he tried to register, he asked to be to put his ORCID member, ORCID ID profile. And then it goes to the link, and then it said that the link is error. Is it from and the journal OJS is version 3.1, so not long ago. So is it the error comes from the link from the journal, or I don't know. Can you take that question?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that question. Again, I think that more context of the exact error is required. So I would recommend they take the question to the forum. You can feel free to tag me in the question as well, and I'm happy to help answer it. I'll put my forum username in the chat as well after I'm finished answering this question. But if they are on 3.1, that is actually a quite old version. So I would recommend they upgrade and stay on the LTS version because 3.1 hasn't been supported for a few years. So that would probably be, in any case, the first step I would recommend for, obviously, if they're an author or a contributor, they don't have the same power to go to the journal and ask them to upgrade, but that would be my general recommendation. But I'm happy to help look at any error messages and see what's going on. Yeah.
Oke, thanks a lot, Eric. Pak Edi, saran dari Eric, sebaiknya versi OJS dari jurnal, meskipun Bapak tidak terlibat di dalamnya, versi 3.1.2 itu sudah lama di stop. Sekarang disarankan untuk upgrade ke OJS 3 long term support. Nanti mungkin Pak Edi bisa menyampaikan pertanyaan via forum. Jika sudah disampaikan oleh Eric, bisa langsung kirim pertanyaannya ke Eric.
Oke Bu, terima kasih Bu.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Edi.
Terus satu lagi boleh Bu ya, mau tanya aja Bu terkait ORCID. Untuk
ya boleh, boleh silakan
ORCID,
Pak.
ya, untuk ORCID ID itu apa namanya, ID kita ada nomor X-nya di belakang itu nggak masalah Bu ya? Karena saya daftar dia, jadi bukan sekedar nomor
Nggak
aja,
masalah,
tapi
tadi
di
sudah
belakang
dijawab.
itu X-nya. Oke, terima kasih Bu, terima kasih.
Ya, nggak masalah. Oke, ya. Terima kasih. I think there a question from Jordan Putra Cahyono. I think this question goes to you, Eric. In OJS 3.3, the setting is in Bahasa Indonesia. To activate the other plugin and also the ORCID plugin is error. So they have to change the setting from Bahasa to English. The version is OJS 3.3. So what is the solution for this one?
I'm sorry that my answers have all been the same for the most part, but I think in this specific case, I would want to know more information about what the error is. So I would recommend bringing the exact error message you're receiving to the PKP forum that I just posted in the chat and tag me in that as well. It could be many different things. Some of it could be OJS related, some of it could be ORCID related, some of it could be the server environment of the journal. So I'm happy to help figure out what the solution is, but I'm afraid I can't give a terribly helpful answer at the moment.
Yeah.
Maria.
Maria. Thank you, Eric. Yes.
Yeah, I just want to say maybe we need to wrap up this due to time limitations. So I will. Yeah. So maybe. So thank you, everyone. I think if you do have questions, please still use the QA. Even as I said, even we couldn't answer now live, we will include that in the follow-up email. And I think in the end, we do also have a wrap-up pool before we say goodbye. So maybe we launch the pool now, Kimberly, as a wrap up. Oh, yes. Okay, great. Yes. So maybe Maria, you can let the participant know this is the final pool that we share. We have as a wrap up question. Pool. Thank you.
Ya, baik Bapak Ibu, karena terbatasnya waktu kita tidak dapat menjawab semua pertanyaan, tapi semoga terwakili oleh penjelasan dan jawaban sebelumnya. Khusus untuk pertanyaan mengenai OJS bisa diajukan ke forum. Erik sudah menyampaikan linknya dia, jadi langsung saja di-mention ke Erik. Bapak Ibu mau untuk mengisi poll, tolong harapan dan tanggapan Bapak Ibu terhadap sesi hari ini. Apakah nomor satu pertanyaannya, apakah webinar ini meningkatkan pemahaman saya tentang ORCID? Yang kedua, apakah webinar ini meningkatkan pemahaman saya mengenai ORCID plugin di Open Journal Systems?
Yeah, and Kimberly, I think we are okay to share the result now. Thank you.
Mohon untuk diisi.
Let's see the result. Okay, perfect. I think, yeah, we are happy to learn the positive response about ORCID, OJS, ORCID plugin. So yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, I think I will just say thank you, everyone. And I think now it's a perfect timing to wrap this up. So I don't know, Maria, do you want to add some more before we close this? Or everyone want to add? And thank you, UAM and PKP
Yeah.
for making this webinar come true. So really happy for that. Yeah, go ahead, Maria.
Yeah. Or Eric, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'll just briefly say thank you very much. It's always a great opportunity to share more about what we do and connect with users and our community, because they're the reason why we do this. And so thank you all very much for being here. It means a lot to hear all of your questions and hear how much all of you care about these things. It's very important to me, and it's great to hear how important it is to all of you as well.
Okay,
Also,
I see John is still here. John, do you want to say something?
Yes, Maria, just wanted to join and just thank everyone as well for a wonderful presentation and for the importance of ORCID and our work with ORCID and OJS. Eric in particular, thank you very much for presentation, and Estelle. I think we're that much further along. I think if we do the percentages in a year's time, we'll see a much higher percentage of ORCID members as a result of this event. So everyone in the audience, please tell your colleagues what a wonderful presentation, and please tell your colleagues they don't need this presentation to sign up to ORCID. They can sign up on their own.
Anytime, anywhere, as long as you need to have internet. That's it. Otherwise, that's all good.
Yeah. But completely free. And
completely
very well supported. So if everyone could sign up 5 colleagues, that would be great.
Yeah, and also I want to thank you. Thanks my colleague Kimberly, who is really in another time zone. So it's almost 11 p.m. for her. So I really appreciate her support. Kimberly, thank you.
Of course, and thank you to all of our speakers and for everybody who joined us today.
Yeah. Okay, then maybe it's time to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you again, everyone. Yeah.
Oke, baik Bapak dan Ibu peserta webinar, kita sudah sampai di akhir acara. Semoga materi yang disampaikan dapat berguna dan dapat memaksimalkan penggunaan ORCID dan OJS untuk menjamin integritas penelitian. Terima kasih untuk para peserta dari ujung barat hingga ujung timur Indonesia. Kami dari PKP berterima kasih karena berkat Indonesia sebagai pengguna terbesar di dunia, OJS masih eksis sampai hari ini. Semoga penggunaan OJS ini juga diikuti oleh penggunaan ORCID di Indonesia. To Estelle, Eric, and John, I was just saying that PKP sends the biggest gratitude to Indonesia as the largest OJS communities, and do hope that it will be followed by ORCID and can make Indonesia as the largest ORCID users in the world someday. Thank you again for your excellent presentation today. Mohon maaf jika ada kekurangan dalam persiapan atau selama berlangsungnya webinar. Once again, thank you University of Multimedia Nusantara for facilitate this, and terima kasih atas perhatiannya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you all very much.